Welcome back, learners. Today we are going to learn new things, and our lesson today is all about demonstrating how a body responds to changes in motion. So, let's begin. So, how a body responds to changes in motion. Now, force acting on a body can cause changes in motion. For instance, any push or pull may cause an object to move or stop. So, how do we define force? Force is basically the push and pull. And force causes an object change in motion. So, again, the force change object's position that causes motion. Now, the response of an object to changes in motion can be explained by Isaac Newton's first law of motion. Newton's first law of motion, or the law of inertia, states that an object at rest will remain at rest, an object in motion will remain in motion when no external force is acting on it. For example, a ball at rest will remain at rest unless it is kicked or pushed, while a rolling ball will remain in motion when there is no friction or force stopping it. The property that resists the changes in an object is called inertia. Massive objects have greater inertia. So take note, class, that if an object is at rest and an object is in motion, they are in the form of inertia. And take note that inertia is the property of an object that resists change. So it is mass dependent. When we say mass dependent, the greater or the massive object is, it has greater inertia. So let's continue. Let us consider another example of an object at rest. The box at rest is acted upon by a normal force and gravitational force. Take note that these we have two we have different types of forces. So we have one example. We have the normal force and the gravitational force. An object at rest is acted upon by a normal force and gravitational force because the box remains at rest since the two forces balance each other and no other force is acting on the box. So basically, class, if an object is at rest, the forces acted on it is are the normal force and the gravitational force. So when we say gravitational force, it is the force that will act on an object that will just set on a specific object or stable, okay? So it is caused by the gravity. So when we say normal force, it is a force that is the mass dependent, okay? So let us continue. Let us consider an object in motion, a sliding box. So when we say in motion, it is in motion. So let's see. A sliding box. Like the box at rest, it is also acted upon by a normal force and gravitational forces by each other. Since there is no friction between the box and the floor, and the forces acting on a box balance each other, and the box will remain sliding all throughout. So the only thing that will stop the movement of that sliding box is the friction, because friction will not allow or inhibit or it will stop a moving object in constant motion. So it changes the speed, or yung halimbawa nito is pinapalitan or pinapabagal niya yung objects in motion. So an example of this is, imagine a spacecraft in space. When the engines are turned off, a spacecraft in space will move with constant speed in the same direction. So, if there is no friction, the speed of the spacecraft will constantly moving. However, when the spacecraft engine is turned off, the spacecraft will now experience an unbalanced force. This force will change the speed and direction of the spacecraft. So that's it. When the spacecraft is turned on, it continuously moving in a constant speed. But so it is in the form of inertia. But if the spacecraft engine turned off, then it would be uh it would be it would be the time that the spacecraft will slowly moving, and it doesn't it is not in the form of inertia anymore, because it causes the changes in motion. So another example is presented. Okay, imagine you are riding in a car and the car experiences a sudden stop. Inertia will keep you moving along with the car. You will stop moving when you hit another object, such as a steering wheel or the window, but this will cause severe injury. Seatbelt will prevent this from happening, since it acts as external force preventing you from moving along the car. So, that's it. Yung force, it acts on the car itself, but hindi ka naapektuhan. Pero dahil sa pag-change ng motion, ikaw ay maaaring maibanggaw or mauntog uh, in front of the steerer or steering wheel. Okay? So, a very good example in order for you to prevent that to happen will, you should always wear your seat belt, because seat belt will reduce the risk of accident. Okay? So, another example is this. Okay? So, in the egg drop experiment, the egg is not in motion, right? So it is in the form of inertia, or it is at rest. According to the law of inertia, it tends to stay the same. However, when the pan is slapped, when the force acted on the tray affecting the paper tube, thus knocking it. On the other hand, this force doesn't affect the egg. The egg will just safely drop on water inside the glass, since the support was removed. The gravity acted on egg. So basically, if you kapag hindi mo minove mismo yung egg, then it will never be, it is in nasa form pa rin siya ng inertia. Pero kapag yung mismo yung egg ang minove mo, then hindi na siya, nag-change na siya ng state, then dito na papasok yung tinatawag nating second law of motion. But hindi tayo magdidig on that. So, a very good example of is presented already. So, in summary, an object at rest will remain at rest, and an object in motion will remain in motion in the absence of external force. So basically, if there is no external force that acts on an object, the object is still in the form of inertia, whether that is moving constantly or it is at rest. So, this behavior of the body to changes in motion can be demonstrated by the first law of motion or the law of inertia. So, that ends my presentation. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any question, just comment down below and I will be answering that, or just message me through my Facebook account. That would be all. Thank you and God bless.